What would you be advising the three tiers of government in terms of this value chain principle? We want to just narrow ourselves to it because, I mean, it's so broad, business and economy is broad, but this value chain, how can the government facilitate this idea in their own way? The first tier, second tier, and the third tier, taking into cognizance also the role of the three arms of government. That's a tall one, man. But,
No, I think I'll simplify. I'll just answer an aspect of it, since your topic is actually not to do with the government per se.
No.
But with respect to, regional cooperation, regional development, ensuring that development takes place across Nigeria, not in some parts. Because if you go to the northeast, there's so much poverty, and because of that, there's instability. If you go to Niger Delta, because of poverty. So the instability and insecurity we have stems from poverty and a lot of things like unemployment and things like that. I dare say that value chain concept is one way you can correct the imbalance. Growth has to have a balance.
Growth has to have a balance.
Yes, it has to have a balance. It must be across Nigeria. That is why God has not made a mistake endowing Nigeria across the geopolitical zones. So value chains must be built within each of the zones, and government can enable that. By encouraging, earlier on I mentioned the issue of Kaduna and Gombe working together. Lagos and Ogun working together. States working together, realizing that they can't do everything. There are some things that I am blessed with in my state, in my geopolitical zone, that when we use the value chain to produce a lot, unless there's demand for it, we can't achieve anything. But the demand can be in another zone. That means that we must collaborate. So what the government can do is to enable the states to work together by building infrastructures that connect the states. By helping the states who are already building infrastructures like light rail and so on to complete it, and ensuring that these people are brought together. Luckily for us, the central government and most of the states are APC. So they won't say now that, oh, I'm dealing with the other party. They can work together to ensure that, what really excited me about the last few years is I was studying, it wasn't APC then, it was before they became APC. ACN. That if you go to Abeokuta, come to Ibadan, you see some structures that are similar. They actually sat together and say, this party must do this. You governors, you must go and do that. That is beauty of working together and ensuring that everybody falls in line and work together. What I want to advise this government to do is there are things that the state governments can do better than the federal government. There are things that the local government can do better than the state government. But there is synergy. They must work together. And when we have the value chain concept, that means that each of these level of government have a place to, they have a part to play in ensuring that the value chain works. And they must be ready to assist businesses within each geopolitical zone to build their value chain, to manage their value chain with the support from government, with the support from the financial sector, with the support, for example, please let me just end with this.
Please.
If, for example, we practice the issue of value chain in Nigeria, and we begin to produce things that we used to import. If, for example, there's a man in the East who produces vehicles. Many people don't know him. His name is Innocent. He produces vehicles. When I was in government briefly, I went to his factory and I couldn't believe that these vehicles were made in Nigeria. But he told me that he wanted to make tires, but he didn't have rubber. So he was trying to plant rubber plantation. And I said, why? Talk to him. He said, I've tried. They didn't listen to me. So I just picked up the phone and called the man in the rubber industry, the head of them, and he came. Yanusi. He came and talked to Innocent. And he said, okay, I'll make you good tires. They began to work together. Innocent didn't need to make rubber anymore. He didn't need to plant plantation. He focused on what he could do. He was very excited. Now, that is what the government can do. Ensure that he encourages people to do what they have comparative advantage to do. And then bring them together. And then what the federal government can do, providing infrastructure power is very important. Ensuring that there is strong value chain in oil and gas. Unfortunately, we don't have time to discuss that now. Because if you have strong value chain in oil and gas, many of our problems are gone. Because Many of the things we import now, and this subsidy thing we are talking about, will no longer exist.
True.
Many of the things that we are not refining, we will refine here.
True.
And when we do that, the forex that we used to import these things, we don't need to.
Stays here.
It stays here. And in addition to that, there will be liquidity.
True.
They don't know what to do. They will now be forced to give it to the real sector to produce. For many of us, including those in government, maybe our time is limited. But for the young people who are really coming out to give their best, they need support from us, support from government. We should give that support. Whatever we know that will push them forward beyond the boundary we have set, we should give it that support. And I already seen from the discussion we had before that young people are breaking out of the box. We should let them break out. They will make mistakes, which is okay. It's part of it. When you make mistakes, it helps you to even grow. Yes. So we need that support. But we cannot hide our heads in the sand and say, oh, we know it all. They are too young, which is something that this system should stop. You know. So I believe that whatever skills they require, capacity they require to excel and build value chains that result in national development and balanced development in this country, we should do it.